If you have joined us, kindly indicate in the comment section if you can hear me and also if you can see my screen. Welcome to interview communication series. We are going to be looking at how you can effectively communicate in job interview so as to end that job interview, so as to win or to secure that job. Kindly let me know if you can see my screen, if you can hear me. Please drop in the comment section if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. We are live now. We are live. Kindly let me know if you can see my screen, if you can hear me. We stopped. This is where we stopped last week, Thursday, which happens to be the first edition of this series. Like I said, we are going to be having these sections every week Thursdays. So let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. And if you are just joining us, welcome to interview communication series. This series is focused at preparing job seekers to effectively scale through job interviews. Today we will be concluding on the aspect of interview communication, and then we will move straight to interview tests. What are the series of tests? What are the tests to which you are going to pass through in job interviews? What are diverse tests that you might most likely pass through during job interviews? I'm still expecting to get to hear from us. Let me know if you can see my screen, if you can hear me. Kindly drop your chat. Kindly drop it in the chat box. Kindly drop it in the chat box if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. This is interview communication series. You are welcome. This is interview communication series. Here we will teach and guide every participant on how to effectively pass job interviews, or whether it's scholarship interview, whether it's grant interview. This is one thing that each and every one of us must master so as to be able to effectively scale through that job interview section. And if you are just joining us and you are yet to subscribe to the channel, kindly hit that subscribe button. Subscribe, drop your message, drop your chat in the chat box. Today I will also open the floor for questions. Today we will also be having what we call question and answers as we proceed. So I want us to drop in the chat box. Please let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen, if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. Kindly drop in the chat box. Let me know if you can see my screen, if you can hear me, so as us to proceed. The next we have in the interview communication, if you missed the last week's series, kindly go to the channel and get what we did last week. Last week we dealt with what you are seeing on your screen: research about the company, research about the job, master the act of emotional entry, cultivate the impression of being the shining light amongst all, where I tell us so that as a job seeker you learn to create an offer. You learn to create an offer to the employers, to the recruiters. You go there with an offer. And I gave us one of the core offers that you can give during job interviews that will make you to stand out, that will make you to stand out as a shining light. So if you missed the last section, I will encourage you to look it up in the channel. You will see it, interview communication, how to communicate effectively in job interviews. Then finally, last week we talked about treat interview sections as a selling process. You are a salesperson, you are a product, at the same time a salesperson. Treat job interview as if you are selling to a customer. You are selling to the audience. What will you want your audience to know? Will you want your audience to know the negative part of you? Do you want the audience to know your weakness? Will you want the audience to know the negative aspect? Or will you promote that positive aspect that will attract customers? Or will you promote that positive aspect of your products that will attract sales? That is what we are talking about. Treat every interview section as a selling process. All right. Then we are going to move to the next stuff today because we need to kickstart and get it up and running. That is, be confident and authentic. What does it mean to be confident? What does it mean to be authentic? Be confident, be authentic. In other words, I have said this in different occasions, on different occasions, based on the audience I communicate with, based on the audience I teach. I always say this: confidence sells better than competence. Confidence sells better than competence. In the business of life, confidence sells better, sells more than competence. In other words, it is your confidence that will promote, that will sell, that will emphasize your competence. If you lack confidence, is an indication that you are not competent. You might be, but the message you are sending to that recruiter, to that interviewer, to that employer is that you lack competence. So your competence is embedded in your confidence. So you can, when you act as one who is not confident, you might be the most qualified, you might be the best candidate, but when that confidence is not exhibited, when that confidence is not assumed, then you will be perceived as not being competent. So in job interviews, it is expected that you be confident and at the same time be you, be authentic. And when I said be you, I'm not saying you be you in a negative light. This is me. If they don't want me, then they should just leave it. This is me. I can't fake it. No. Everybody has his own backside. When we say be authentic, be real, be authentic in your positive aspect. Be authentic in your positive part. Don't go there and say, that's me. It's better they start knowing me from now instead of not knowing me. Be authentic. What that means is that if you are speaking the way I'm speaking, speak that way. Don't go and form what you are not. I remember being part of an interview section in Osogbo, in Osun State, and one lady walked in trying to form English that she couldn't sustain, trying to form all these Queen's English and stuff like that, and we discovered that she's just trying to fake it. She's just trying to feign it. So be confident at the same time, be authentic. Let your speech, let your body expression, let your charisma be that which you are really are. Don't go there and begin to show or begin to be who you are not. And I need to state this. There is a thin line between being confident and being arrogant. There is a thin line between you showing authenticity and then being timid or being overzealous. Learn to master these things. Be confident by the tone of your voice. How do you assume confidence to an interviewer? How do you assume confidence to a recruiter, to the employer? One is to always maintain eye contact. This is one area fresh in job seekers tends to make mistakes. This is one area they tends to fail. They tends to make mistake. They tends not to maintain eye contact. They tends to just look small and then look away. Look small and look down or look. Maintain eye contact. When I say eye contact, maintain eye contact, not staring at the person, just an eye contact that shows rapid attention, communication, and participation. There is attention you give to someone, the person will know, yes, you are truly in this conversation. That is what we are talking about here. Maintain eye contact. This is one way you show confidence and you show that you're authentic. Start now to build it. Don't say, when I go for an interview, I will remember to maintain eye contact. It is nature. It is natural that sometimes if you are not one who practice attentive listening, then you might not really be effective in this regard. So one way to show interviewer your level of confidence, your level of being authentic, one is to maintain eye contact. Don't look above the interviewer's head and don't look below the interviewer's head. Maintain eye contact. Number two, ways in which you communicate confidence. Number two, ways in which you send the impression of one who is authentic and confident is to extend firm handshake. When I say extend firm handshake, I'm not saying when you walk into the interview room, you will be the one to first extend the handshake. No. When they give you a handshake of fellowship, a handshake of welcoming, you then give out a firm handshake. Don't give a loose handshake, or don't give, if it's what I can call a feminine handshake. Some ladies will just give you a kind of a kind of feminine handshake. No, it is professional meeting, is an official meeting, is a corporate engagement. You give a firm handshake with a smile. The smile assumes clarity. Smiles assume one who is approachable, one who can be related with, and one who one can easily buy into. And last time I was talking about the act of emotional entry, I mentioned about smiling. You cannot overemphasize the power of smile, the power of smile, and then radiating positivity. So number one is to maintain eye contact. Number two is to give a firm handshake. Then number three, in communicating confident and authentic, is in the way you sit, the posture of your sitting. The posture of your sitting is also very, very important. So when you go for an interview, you don't just sit being too relaxed. At the same time, you don't just sit as one who is fidgeting, as one who is tensed. You sit upright. And then rest your hands on your lap or on the table. Don't lean on the table. Don't rest on the table before you. You can place your hand on the table, but don't rest on it or don't lean on it. When you do that, you are communicating to the interviewer that you are one that has low energy. And remember, energy is the ability to do work. It takes energy to get things done. And interviewers, employers, recruiters don't want one with low energy. And when you sit resting on the table, using your hand to lean on the table, you are sending a message that you are one with low energy. So when you see it, these are certain postures, these are certain communication, non-verbal communication that we send to the interviewers in a negative way. When we see it, when we rest, when we try to use our hand to hold our jaw, trying to say as if you are trying to buy confidence and stuff like that, you are sending a message. Remember last week I was talking about the aspect of communication. I mentioned the aspect of non-verbal communication. And this is where most applicants, this is where they shoot themselves on the leg. And at the end of the day, they said, I spoke the right words. I have learned how to answer. Tell me, I have learned how to answer this. I did everything. I said the right words. I answered it the way it ought to be. But I don't know why they did not come in. I don't know why I wasn't selected. It is mostly due to your non-verbal communication. What you are saying is not as important, is not more important than the way you are saying it. Both of them goes hand in hand. In as much as what you are saying is very, very important, the way you are saying it, the confidence behind the tone of your voice, the confidence behind your facial expression, the confidence behind the movement of your hands, your body charisma is what is communicating to the effectiveness of what you are saying. You can be saying the right words, your body is communicating the opposite. That he is just saying these things, but we can't trust that he is good at it, because the way he or she is presenting it. So one of the things you must be able to master, to bear in mind, and to be authentic. And in doing so, maintaining eye contact, giving them a firm handshake, and then your tone of your voice, your body expression, and the posture of your sitting. Next interview communication you must understand is this. This is a communication, but some persons don't understand. I will say most persons don't understand this aspect of communication. Communication, remember, we said that communication can be written, communication can be oral, communication can be verbal, communication can be visual. And in most cases, we read your non-verbal communication more than your verbal communication. We want to know whether what you are acting is in synergy with what you are saying. Whether your action is in synergy with your words. So one might ask me, how does bringing copies of one's document to interview a communication? How can we group it under interview communication? And I want to let you know now. How can we group it under communication? That's what one might ask. And how we group this is still under nonverbal communication. Now, when interviewers see that among the persons that are called for interview was sent out to interviewees, the company did not ask them to bring copies of their document. The company did not ask them. But you, coming for that interview, decide to bring copies of your credentials, documents. You are one that is sending message, you are communicating to us that you are one that is proactive. You are one that is proactive. In other words, you can think ahead. You are one that can take a proactive measure. Peradventure these things happen, I can be able to take care of it. You think ahead. You are one that can fall in the category of what the Bible calls the 5 wise virgins, whom went ahead to think ahead and took extra oil. What you just did is, peradventure, you are being asked. Then if you are not asked, you didn't have anything to lose. It's a highly calculated risk. You are on the right side of the divide. So when you bring copies of your documents to interview, you are sending message to interviewers that you are one that ensure that you are prepared. You cross the T's and dot the I's. In whatsoever you are doing, you ensure that you mitigate, you remove every necessary loopholes. That's a communication you are sending to us. You are telling us you are one that is proactive. You think ahead. So I want to tell you this evening, if you have not been told by any person, by anybody, which most times these things have not been communicated to us, especially fresh graduates. If you have not been told, I'm telling you today, anytime you are going for a job interview, anytime you are going for any interview, scholarship interview, grant interview, whatsoever interview, ensure you take along with you copies of your documents. Ensure you take along with you copies of your documents. This is very important. Then the next one is to maintain good and positive body language. That cannot be overemphasized. Maintaining good and positive body language cannot be overemphasized. Be sure that you give a firm handshake, tone of your voice. Don't rush the interviewers when they are asking questions. Just allow them to finish their question, then you can pause and answer. Maintain good and positive body language. Don't sit like someone who is tired. Don't sit slouching into the chair. At the same time, don't walk into the interview with low energy. Walk in majestically. Let there be a positive vibes. Radiate positive energy. And once this is done, these are key tips. Key tips as regards to interview communication. Because most of us are more interested in what we say. Neglecting the vital aspect of the communication goes a long way in making sure that the candidate, the applicant, acts effectively. Remember, we started this series by saying it's not the most, it's not the most, is not the best candidate, but the best performer. So in performing, in acting, you agree with me, it's not just what you are saying, but the way you say it. It's not just what you say that makes person, it's not what that actor says that makes you to cry, per se, but the way he says it, the atmosphere that he or she brings around the scene, the mood, and took into your emotion that makes you to cry. It's just words that someone else might say, and it might not cut your emotion. So it's not the best qualified, it's the best actor. Now, having established this fact, we are going to be moving to the next aspect of this interview communication series, which we call interview tests. Interview test. What are the tests? What are the series of tests that a job seeker will pass through? There are different tests, especially in this digital age, in this dynamic age, in this fast-moving age. There are different tests to which you are going to be subjected to. There are different tests to which you are going to be subjected to in this digital age, in this dynamic age, in this fast-paced age. You are going to be subjected to different kinds of tests. Now, having established that, we are going to move immediately into what we have. Interview tests. Now let's get the first test. We call it stress interview. If you have been under my lectures for past years, you will notice that I always talk about this called stress test. Stress interview rather. We have stress interview, we have stress test. You will agree with me that I have always hammered on this. Why? We use this stress interview especially for candidates that are going to come in contact with stress, pressure, customers pressuring them, work-related pressure, this person calling for his attention, this person asking for his attention, and what have you. How will such a person deal with it? How will such a person handle such stress? And that is one of the tests you are going to go through. You might be put through in job interview. Stress interview. Now, what is stress interview? What is stress interview? We said that stress interview is this. In a job interview, you are seated and someone asks you a question. Someone asks you a question. While you are about to answer that question, another person in the panel throws another question to you. For example, you are asked, why do you consider yourself to be the best candidate for this job? As you are about to answer why you consider yourself to be the best candidate for this job, another person throws another question for you. What are you bringing into this company? And you try to answer that person. Another person throws another question for you. Lacking experience, how do you intend to succeed? What do you think that will make you to be successful? Now, these questions, when you want to answer this question, you and I know that there is no how you can effectively deal with each questions within the rate, within the speed at which they come, within the speed at which the interviewer asks the questions. You are asked, as you are about to answer, another person throws another question. You are about to answer, another person throws another question. No matter how fast you tend to be, you are definitely going to flop. And why is that happening? Why is that so? Why is it like that? The simple stuff here is that we are not interested in your answer. Let's get that clear. We are not in any way interested in your answer. Your answer, we are not interested in it. Now, why do we ask you this question? Why do we put you in such a phase? Why do we put you in such a situation? The reason is this: to see how you will handle that stress, to see how you will handle that challenge. Peradventure, let's say you are being interviewed as a front desk personnel or a teller person in the bank and what have you, and you are being put through stress interview. The only thing we want to know how you will deal with it. For example, if you find yourself in this situation where you are asked a question and you are about to answer, another person throws a question. You are about to answer, another person throws another question. Now, when that happens, pause with a smile. When the first person asks you the first question and you are about to answer, the next person throws the second question. Just pause. Few seconds, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. Pause. And then with a smile, now make this statement. Make this statement. Come from the point of inquiry. Inquire. Ask. Don't make an emphatic statement. Come from the point of asking. He that asks receiveth. He that inquires gets instructions, gets directions. So come from the point of inquiry. In other words, you will not say, well, I sincerely, I see the way these questions are coming from the way I see the way these questions are coming at a very fast speed at me. I will love to ask if that will be granted to me, that these questions comes one after the other, so that I can effectively and efficiently do justice to them. This job, this position is something I'm so much passionate about. It's something that I have great respect and great passion for. So I will love to ask that these questions come one after the other, so that I can effectively and efficiently answer the questions as they come. That is how to deal with this kind of interview, which we call stress interview. This is how you deal with it. Don't go about trying to satisfy each interviewer that asks the question. Let me tell you, you will end up not satisfying any, because you cannot at that pace answer any meaningful stuff. So when you are faced with this kind of situation, note that it's a stress interview. And in such situation, we are not interested in your answer. We are much more interested in how you deal with the situation. And how you deal with the situation is to ask. Please, I would love to ask, the way these questions are coming so fast at me, please, I will humbly ask that this question be asked one after the other, so that I can efficiently answer each question as they come. That's how you deal with that. We call it stress interview. That's how you deal with it. Then, having talked about this, the next interview test we will look at is emotional test. Emotional test. Especially this test mostly is for most times those that comes in contact with people every now and then. Customer service center, personal assistants, secretaries, sales reps, marketers, different personnel, provided you are coming in contact with people mostly. These are mostly tests that are going to be issued. Not that other departments might not go through it, but in most cases, those positions are tested, are being put through emotional tests. What do we mean by emotional test? What does that imply? How do you go through emotional tests? Some of us that have gone for interview have seen certain things like this, and they will be like, wow, how does it relate with the job? What does it have to do with the job? For example, you are in an interview, let's say for a lady, and the interviewer asks you from nowhere, they are asking you technical questions. That's how we mostly do this. We might be asking you technical questions that relates with the job, that we call technical questions, that relates with the job role, the job characteristics, the job requirement. And from nowhere, someone else now comes and asks you, how many abortions have you had? Imagine that. How many abortions have you had? Or why are we putting you through such stuff? When you are asked that question, how many abortions have you had? It will come like you as a shock. It's an emotional test. Don't show that you are angry. Don't show that you can easily be angered. You can easily be irritated. Remember, that's a question. And also, remember that is also an emotional test. We want to know how emotionally mature are you? How emotionally stable are you? So in that regard, how many abortions have you had? The way you deal with it will go a long way in decision making. Are you the one that gives it to the customers anyhow? Whenever you give them your mind, once they trample, once they go beyond that, but you just give them their mind without minding the reputation of the organization. Are you the one that are easily angered and then you flare up? Even if you might not shout at the interviewers your facial expression, your anger expression will definitely reflect. If you are one who is easily irritated, who is easily angered, it will show. So when we ask you such question, how many abortions have you had? Or are you married? You said no. Why are you not married? You said this. Is it that how many relationships have you been into? You will be like, how does this have to do with my job? How many relationships have you been into? You said you have been into 3 relationships, 4 relationships, 5, and none of them lead to marriage. And you say, is it that is due to your bad character, or that the men are irresponsible? And we begin to probe in. The way you respond to your past relationship will let us know. So one of the things you must understand is that emotional test is there to test your emotional stability. Research have shown that you perform best when you are at your best emotionally. So we want to know whether you are one that can easily emotionally switch from a positive and vibrant emotion into a negative and dejecting emotion. So when we talk about emotional test is a vital test every experienced interviewer puts interviewee through subconsciously. The person might be smiling. Well, you look, especially to ladies for front desk and stuff, you look so beautiful. How many relationships are you into? Or boyfriend? Or do you have, are you in any relationship? The person say no, the person say yes. Okay, where you, how many relationships have you been into? And to start to be pricking into what makes the previous relationship to fail. You begin to say certain things. And mind you, when that question is asked, they will wait for you to answer. All of them will be relaxed, calm for you to answer. What makes your previous relationship not to work out? Please, let me state this. Never say anything negative about your ex. We have said this before as regards to your previous jobs. You might have had people say, don't say negative stuff about your previous job, about the previous company you work with. That is very, very valid, very, very authentic. However, in the emotional test, and we are putting you through this emotional test, asking about your ex, whether you're a guy, whether you're a lady, don't say negative stuff about him or her. If you say negative stuff about him or her, you are not painting the person bad, you are painting yourself bad. Please get this. Why is it that the relationship fail? You can just get any legit, genuine reason why it fails. Maybe we are not compatible. Based on genotypes, and you just genuine reason that he's a wonderful person. We are really wonderful together, and that is just that we are not really compatible medically. That don't begin to say he's a cheat, he does this, he's a cheat, he has many girlfriend or he has many boyfriend, I even do this. That doesn't get you anywhere. Please get that. It's very, very important. I have seen ladies, especially in interview, told that line that I caught him with a boyfriend, with a girl, he's a cheat, and that he thinks painting the guy bad. He thinks that is stuff like that. And then I remember one occasion, the lady told that line, what happens in your previous relationship? Why did it not go through? The lady will say this. And then we now probe how many relationships have you been into. The lady, I think he said 4 relationships or done, and we say all of them failed because the guys are not good. And that boom, he caught herself. He said, no, not that all of them are not good, but me, I like persons to accept me the way I am, and this. And that statement, the way I am, is a red flag. Already a red flag. I need not to tell us the end. So please, you say negative things about someone that is not present there is a red flag. In communication, that's a negative communication. When you want to say something negative about somebody, ensure the person is present. So as to the person, you are not like the person is there and you are saying it. Don't come and say negative stuff about someone that is not present. That's already a negative communication. And I encourage my audience to always communicate in a positive light. Don't say my weakness, say the challenges. Don't say the way area I did not perform well. Say the area I need to improve. Those are positive ways to communicate. So in the emotional test, please show stability. Don't show that you are angry. Don't show that you are irritated, you are angered. Show calmness. Be calm, smile, and say, well, how many abortions have you had? You can just smile. Well, none, sir. I haven't had any abortion. And sometimes we might probe into you, okay, what if we say you have to go and do test for you? Will you be willing to go for the test? Then we still smile you just with a smile and say, of course, I can do that. I want to tell you this, no company will take you for a medical test without having given you employment letter. Once the job is given, we will take you to medical test. And the medical test doesn't have anything to do with that line. The medical test is to check if you are medically fit to do the job. Is to check if you are medically fit to do the job. Now, I want that to sink in. So that we have to understand a bit of labor law. So these are different emotional tests. We might ask you, is your parents alive? What happens if you say no? So how do you manage during their demise? What did you put in place to ensure that you weren't affected emotionally? Okay, about your weakness. I will deal with that. Someone is asking, what if the interviewer asks about your weakness? That is going to be handled under the job interview question and answers that we will be, by God's grace, maybe next week thereabout, we will be looking at it. Those are what there are ways to answer that question. And if you are going for an interview soon and you wish to learn how you can answer such question within your territory, within your location, please check my videos on this channel. You will see one of the videos I handled on what is your greatest weakness. That handles that very well. However, I will also handle that question in this series as we progress. Like I said, this is a section that we'll be holding every Thursday, 4 p.m. I have mapped out 4 p.m. to help job seekers scale through job interviews. I have been in job interviews, sat in job interviews, and see that certain things that makes person to lose the job and the persons that get the job, 80-90% of them is not basically on the technical aspect. It's basically on the non-recognized stuff that most of them do not pay attention to. And that is one of the things that push me in order to put up this series. It's strictly free. I'm committed to it. It's strictly free. From now till the end of the year, I'm going to be holding this series as regards to job interviews. Everything that has to do with job interviews, we are going to be anchoring them on this channel. And if you know one who wants to pass interviews, let the person be part of this. And the person will definitely get what he or she needs. Whether you have 10 years experience or whether you have 20 years experience, you're a fresh graduate, that this series are what you need. And from my experience in the industry as a HR practitioner, as a recruitment consultant, I'm going to be giving us secrets. There are different hacks lines up for us in order to scale through job interviews. And that is one of the things we are committed to do. Okay, invite your friends. As we are on, you can as well share the links to your groups, to your friends, to your audience. Let them be part of what we are doing, especially those who are seeking for job, fresh graduate, final year students that need this information. This teaching is something that is not taught in the four walls of university. these are taught as what we are having now. Okay, let's proceed. The next is what we call the silent treatment test. Silent treatment test. What do we mean by silent treatment test? This test is mostly used by sophisticated HR recruiters to test your confidence, to test your level of professionalism, and to test your level of adaptability. I repeat, to test your level of confidence, to test your level of professionalism, and to test your level of adaptability. And let me say this, 95% of fresh job seekers fail this test. 95% of fresh job seekers fail this test. And when we see one among the fresh job seekers that pass this test, that person makes a very huge lasting impression on us. So if you are here listening to me and tomorrow you go for an interview and the interviewer put you through this test, I want you to pass it without looking back. Pass it effectively. What is silent treatment test? Here it is. Now, silent treatment test, for example, how we put you through silent treatment test, mostly it comes from an open-ended questions in interview. For example, we might ask you, why do you consider yourself the best candidate? Or what and what can you do for this company? Or we ask you to tell us about yourself. And you perfectly answer. You finished answering the question. Expertly answers the question. You gave the question a perfect answer. If there is anything called perfection in the practical world, that is what you do. After you finished, the whole place still remains silent. After you finish answering, boom, the next thing you receive is definite silence. Nobody is talking. And they are still seated, still staring at you, as if they are still expecting you to say more. As if they are expecting you to continue. As if that you have not finished. Don't fall for it. Last time I gave us a key that if you are asked a question in an interview, don't spend more than 90 seconds. That is my recommendation. I recommend 90 seconds. Don't answer any question beyond 90 seconds. And if you must do, let it not pass 2 minutes. That's 120 seconds. Let it not pass 2 minutes. My worst case scenario is 2 minutes. But my perfect or my best recommendation is 90 seconds. Then after you have articulately answered the question and they still remain silent, what you will receive is a definite silence, as if you have not said anything, as if you are still expected to say stuff, as if the answer you gave is not comfortable by them, is not okay by them, and they remain silent. We call it silent treatment test. When you encounter such, don't continue to. Most amateurs will still continue. Say, okay, well, I also did this. I will also do this. Let me tell you, from that moment, any other thing you are saying will be rubbish. I want you to get that. I said from that moment, any other thing you will be saying most likely will be rubbish. So when you are done giving your concise, accurate answer to the question, and they remain silent, what you do is shut up. Don't say anything. Keep short. Don't go to continue to blabbing other things. You have given the answer. They ask you a question, you have given the answer. The next thing is the ball is in their court. Keep short. Shut up. Don't say anything. However, As easy as it may sound, as simple as it may sound, being for you to shut up and not to say anything. Remember, the more the silent void goes, the more it becomes difficult. Now, what do I recommend you do? When that happens, that you have keep short for some seconds, very, very rugged interviewers will also follow you to keep short. Like you experience now, you might be thinking, what is happening? Is network having issue? No, I just kept short for us to understand, for us to have a picture of how the room will be, for us to picture ourselves in the room, and before the interviewers, they are all silent, staring at you, not staring, looking at you, and you are also silent. Will you be silent looking down? Will you keep short and you will be like looking down? Or will you keep short and you will be like looking up? Now, what do you do in that? As you keep short with a cheerful face, the smiling face, you just keep short and still maintain eye contact. Maintain eye contact. As in a way, you are extending a message that you are expecting a feedback from them. Because I said you will be like you sit up with a smiling face, with a cheerful face, a cheerful disposure, a positive disposure, maintaining eye contact with them. But don't be silent for long. Most of them will keep that silence for long. We say, okay, let's see how long he can hold this silent without him blabbing rubbish. Now, once that silence maintained to like 15 seconds, 30 seconds, at most 45 seconds. If it maintains 15, 30, at most 45 seconds, then you feel the void. But how do you feel the void? How do you come in? You don't come in to say anything again. No, they are the one that holds the key. You are coming in from the point of inquiry. You are coming in from the point of asking question. You don't come from the point of saying things again. You now ask the question. Knowing fully well that in communication, when you ask a question, you expected to get an answer. And remember, interview is a mutual interaction. It's a mutual interaction. It's not a boss-employee relationship. Is a mutual interaction, is a business conversation. So, having understood that, what do you now say? You cannot make this statement. Well, Esa, please, you asked me this question, I have answered. Is there anything you feel I should add? Is there any other thing you feel I should add? Are there any other thing you expect for me to say? You come from the point of inquiry. You ask. So if they said yes, then you can also ask, please, can you enlighten me, or can you please let me know what could that be? Don't be timid or so. What could that be, please? From a professional standpoint, they ask you, what can you do for this company? And you have finished answering the things you know that you can do for the company, and they still remain silent. Then what you do after some while of being silent, you now ask, please, are there any other things you feel I should add? Or is there any other thing you feel that I should include? Or are there any other things you expect from me to add? Come from the point of inquiry. Use any of these lines. Don't use the 3 lines at the same time. Don't ask and then use the 3. Don't use the 3 lines at the same time. Please, is there any other thing you feel I should add to the question? Stop. Don't say, is there any other thing I feel I should ask to the question, or is there any other thing you feel I should explain better? No. Pick one and ask, and then keep quiet. You have asked the question, they are now expected to give you an answer. And when I teach this, I remember teaching this some months back, and somebody asked, what if you ask the question and they still keep silent? Then keep silent as well. Keep short. Because you have asked the question. Don't bridge communication. There is a communication pattern. You ask the question and they didn't respond, keep short. But in most cases, 98-99%, you will get answer. 98-99% of the time you will get answer. And that is what we refer to as silent treatment test. We refer to that as silent treatment test. The next test we are going to look at is stress test. Remember, we have stress interview. This one is stress test, and this might take me a bit of time to explain. I want you to go with me. Don't miss any bit of this stress test, because you might be put through, you might go through it. In some companies, they use this stress test. And what is this stress test? This stress test, I grouped it into two. I divided it into two. There's one I call the Paco stress test. The Paco stress test, and the one I call the Aje stress test. Aje Potter stress test. That's what I grouped it into. The Paco stress test is the one that will be put under severe stress. Severe stress. Severe stress, I mean, is that where you guys will be put to will not be comfortable at all. There might be heat in the stress test. Stress test, in most cases, it comes from the time you receive the interview message. When they send you message to come for the interview, most times you are invited for an interview tomorrow and you are receiving the email today, maybe by 6 p.m. this evening or 8 p.m. this evening, telling you have an interview with them tomorrow. Especially when the job ad says those within the location. They know that those that are staying within the location, no matter what, if they leave early, they will get to the interview venue before 9. That's why most times they say, okay, those within location, those within Aja, those within Lekki, those within Owerri, those within so place applies. Those persons within so location. Most cases. So they give you information this evening by 12, by 6, by 8, and tell you there is you have an interview for tomorrow by 9 p.m., by 9 a.m. rather. They know that most persons might have not even be prepared. Most persons don't prepare their clothing for the week. So they, at that moment, you have already stress have already started. What will I wear? How do I iron my clothes? Especially if you are staying in an area that have epileptic power supply, you will be saying, how will I iron my clothes? What and what? How will I prepare? Hey, this. Especially those who haven't done their research, who haven't research about the company. I have said this: don't be one that apply for any job here and there you see. Focus on a particular niche. Look for know the kind of job you want to go for. I said that in my previous lesson, in my previous section. Know the kind of job you want to go for. That will help you to tailor your skills, to tailor your experiences, to tailor your research. Not that you want to work in this company, this kind of job. At the same time, you want to work in this kind of job, different opposite jobs. No, tailor your search. That. Now, when that happens, that's the stress. It starts from there. However, the stress test, the Paco stress test will now be that when you get to the organization, please, whether it's a stress test or whether it's not stress test, when you get to a company, to the organization, how will I tell us this to understand it? Don't be friendly to only the interviewers. In fact, start your friendliness from the gate. from the gate man or from the security man you met, start being friendly from the gate. After this, please, before I proceed, once I'm done with this interview test, the floor will be open for our questions. So I'm seeing our questions, I'm seeing the questions as they are coming. So let's feel free to drop our questions. Even as I'm teaching, be dropping them. I will definitely go through them and answer the questions. So after this interview test, this is where we will be ending the session for today, and then we open the floor for question and answer. So I'm seeing our questions as we are dropping them. I will attend to it. So feel free, drop any question as regards to job interviews, as regards to job search. I will be able to attend to it by God's grace. Okay, let's proceed. Now, in the stress test, I said this, whether it's stress test, whether in any interview, let me say this, in any interview, start being friendly from the gate. Because in some cases, the person you see at the gate might not be the security person of that company. It might be part of the top management personnel that day they have interview. They want to know the character of interviewers, how the character of candidates, how they relate with persons they feel that they are, or that is of a lower class to them, kind of. How they relate with persons they feel that is not of their class. How they relate with a security person, how they relate with a janitor, how they relate with a driver and stuff like that. Please, when you get to that place on that interview day, be friendly to the security person you see, to the driver, to the janitor, anybody. Be friendly with a smile, greet, smile, exchange pleasantries with the person, and then you walk in. This is very important. It's something that I have seen played out. So I need to bring that, I need to bring it to our attention. Now, in this stress test, you are told that the interview will start by 9. All of you assembled at the interview venue, and maybe I always recommend you to be at the interview venue 30 minutes before time. If they give you interview to be 9, be at the venue 8:30. Be at the venue 8:30 if it's by 10. Be at the venue 9:30. I always recommend 30 minutes before the time that you will be at the venue. That will help you to calm your nerves. That will help you to observe the environment. Read their newsletters. If the company that have magazines, newsletter, read certain things on the board, get to know some things within the system, scan, get some information, get some knowledge, and then once that is done, it prepares you, it helps you to be able to calm your nerves and also have certain information. One of the things we must also understand and apply for any job interview we might go for tomorrow, arrive at the venue 30 minutes. I strongly recommend that before the time. So let's say all of us are within the company, in the company premises, and 5 minutes before the interview, let's say 5 minutes to 9, one of them walks into us and tell us, "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for honoring our invitation. Today we are going to be having the interview immediately 9 on the dot. The interview commences. So kindly exercise patience." The person will bring to your consciousness that they know that the place is not conducive. Please bear with us. We know that this place is not really conducive for you guys. It's a bit hot. Please bear with us. In no time, you will be out from here. We have some technical glitch, some logistics glitch. We sincerely apologize for that. What the person is doing is to call your attention, even if you don't really notice that the place is hot, no fan or stuff like that, is to call your attention to it. That's what the person is saying, that they know. They want to call your attention to it, that you know that they know that this place is not conducive. So once that is done, to easily to trigger emotions, to trigger reactions, Stress test is aimed at knowing the real you. When the interviewers, when the recruiters want to know the real character, the real personality of the persons they want to employ, they most times they put them through this stress test. So why they give you that information by 8:55, that's 5 minutes to 9. By that time, all of us start getting set, adjusting our suit, going through our documents, those that came with their documents, and those that with their phone, looking at the job advert, reading it over again and stuff like that. Those pre stuff you do before to walk into the interview room, and all that, getting set, getting your mindset set and breathing in and stuff like that, some going to use the restroom and stuff like that. By 9 o'clock, you guys will be anxious, waiting for somebody to come and call, okay, number 1, the first person, please walk in. No, nothing happened. 9:30, nothing happened. Some of you will also, maybe they are trying to put up certain things. 10 o'clock, nothing happened. 12 o'clock, nothing happened. At that time, during the heat, maybe the time is during heat period. The heat is, you are sweating inside your suit, you are sweating inside your clothes, and what have you. Most persons will start being agitated. Most persons will start being angry. Mind you, there are CCTV there. Mind you, that captures both your sound and your voice. When company wants to put interviewers through stress test, they put an invisible CCTV camera that captures the room and then capture both the voice, what they are saying. So some might begin to say negative things. Why is the company behaving like this? That's why we can't go far. That's why we are here. Simple this. See as they are treating, see the way they are treating people, as if people doesn't matter. I wonder how they are treating those that are even working in this company itself. And you begin to see all manner of negative talk. Most person thinking that they are just, the company are not hearing what they are saying. And when we say the interview starts by 9, immediately 9 on the dot, the interviewers are seated watching everybody's reaction. Some persons are focused on getting reaction of people in one corner, some are focused on getting reaction of people in the other corner. All of them seated are being given tasks to get a different set of persons' reactions. So once you begin to say certain negative stuff and what have you, those are still being recorded. Those stuffs are being recorded. So what is the key? The key there is that don't say anything negative about the company, about the system, like that's why Nigeria is not moving forward. Or that's why are they treating people like this? No. Instead, when people make such statement, when candidates make such statement, be the one to speak on behalf of the system. What do I mean? You can now tell them, please, let's give them some benefit of that. I believe for them to have gotten to this level, they would have gotten a lot of things very right. I want to believe that they are having some technical challenges. That's why they are delaying for this interview. I don't want to believe that a company as good as this will treat people like this. So please, let's give them some persons will tell you, okay, don't leave this thing. Now those, you see these people now that they might not even be the owner of the company. That is how people destroy people's company. And you see persons that will give you also that negative reaction. However, in that state, still maintain positivity. Still speak positive about the company. Don't go about speaking negative stuff. Don't go about speaking negative stuff about the company. Still maintain positivity. Please, it's very, very important. Maintain positivity and then maintain professionalism. Now, by 1 p.m. some persons will get angry and leave. Let me tell you this. Most of them are those that have something they are doing already. If you're a fresh graduate, you don't have a job already, I guarantee I want to advise you. When you are to go for an interview, just dedicate that whole day for that interview. Don't fix any other appointment so that you don't get unnecessarily angry, so that you don't get unnecessarily agitated. Don't fix any other appointment on that day, so that if peradventure you meet this stress test, you know that that's what you just maintain your cool, maintain your calm. Then if someone tell you to go and ask the secretary or the receptionist why the interview have not started or what is delaying the interview, don't go. Let the person be the one to go, because most times the secretaries, the receptionists are being put there to insult the hell out of you in order to know how you can stand emotions, your emotional stability. So anybody that goes to ask the receptionist that question, the receptionist might insult that person. Oga, don't come here to disturb me. Shebi, you are the one looking for a job. Go and sit down. If you don't want, if you are tired, you can go. Nobody force you to come. That's kind of stuff, that kind of vibes. So that also to add to your anger. So at a time, some persons will leave. And some persons, even while they are angry, some persons have that nature. Even though they are angry, even though they are saying negative things, but they will not still go. They will not leave. By 5, by 4, 5, let's say by 3, 4, the company, one of them will come in and say, I will sincerely apologize for the delay for keeping you guys here. It's not really our making. We really apologize. Please, the interview will be, those of us that are here, you have really done well. Some of you have gotten angry and left, and we really understand them. But those of you that have patience and wait till this moment, we will communicate to you. We will call you for the next phase of this interview. Let me say this, it's not everybody that stayed that will be called for the next phase of the interview. It's not everybody. It's not everybody that stays. It's those that comported themselves. It's those that carry themselves professionally. It's those that manage their emotion, manage their thoughts, manage their speech effectively, carry themselves as leaders, shows leadership ability, shows empathy ability. Those are the ones that will be contacted for the next interview. Please don't make mistake to fail this stress test. Don't do that. Don't fail it, please. Don't fail the stress test. That is the PACO stress test. Now, what is the Ajebota stress test? Now, you see the Ajebota stress test here. In the case of the Ajebota, the time you will be given the time, okay, by 9 o'clock, you all assemble before 9, and then 5 minutes to 9, the person comes and let you know, don't, ladies and gentlemen, this interview will commence in the next 5 minutes. Just sit, relax, and be calm and get ready for your interview. And that question, that information is passed to draw your consciousness to time. And by 9 o'clock, nobody comes. And even then, that's before then, they will let you know where you guys will be comfortable. AC tight, everywhere comfortable. And then there will be a show glass where they will tell you, okay, as you are waiting for your interview, feel free. These snacks are for you. These snacks are meant for you and for you alone, not for any member of the organization. So as that is how we do, we are known for our hospitality and stuff like that. This is dispenser, tea dispenser. You can take tea if you want tea. There is coffee. There is also this refrigerator. You can take any beverage you want, any juice, drink, these snacks, any aspect of snacks. Feel free. Take as many as you want. Feel free and take as much as you like. Is already paid for and is strictly for you. The way it sounds is not the way it is. That is strictly for you doesn't mean that every now and then you start going there as a glutton and be taking this and be taking that, which I have seen some person do. So that's the aspect we call agile. And then in that waiting room, there will be a big plasma TV where there will be displaying different things, music, football, movies, and stuff like that. I will get to that aspect later. Now, after that, by 9, nothing happened. 10 o'clock, nothing happened. Some persons might say, it be like say they know they go delay sef. Now why they buy all these things to keep us calm, and so that we can be able to wait. Might go take this, might go take that. Might go take this, might go take that. Now let me say this. It's not a crime for you to take anything from that place. No, it's not a crime. Where is a crime in that interview is you frequenting there. Maybe you take meat pie, and later you say, let me take burger, and later let me take this, and later let me taste coffee, and later you say, let me take tea. No. If you are there and by 10 nothing happened, 11 nothing happened, you can decide to take a cup of tea with few slices of bread. I recommend 3 slices. Mind you, you are not there to take your lunch or your breakfast. Lest I forget, before you go for any interview, ensure you eat. Ensure you eat before going for any interview. A hungry man is an angry man. Bear that in mind. Never go for any interview without eating. Even if they say the interview will start by 10 and will start by 9 and end by 10. No, go any interview and ensure you eat before going. So you are not there to take your lunch. You are not there to take your breakfast. So you can just take few slices of bread, or you take snacks and a fruit juice. Just pick what you want. Just pick one item you want and take juice or any liquid to go down with it. Don't go and take tea. At the same time, later you go and take snacks. Later you go and take this aspect of snacks. Take egg roll, take meat pie, and that. No. They are watching you. They are watching you. They are watching you. Now, having said that, the next thing that I will call our attention to in this stress test, as regards to the Ajebota stress test, is the television, the TV before you guys. We test your observation skill. One of the things most likely we test you on in that place is your observation skill. This is another aspect of interview test. What is that observation skill we are testing you to? If you are there and you notice, you observe that the TV before you guys keep on playing a particular information about the company. Maybe the company is launching a new product. Let's say it's GT Bank. They keep on talking about their shares, repeating it. They are launching a new service. Maybe they are launching a new product. They have a new service. Or they just inaugurated new set of leadership, new executives. They keep on playing that. That information, they are passing that information across to you, so as to know whether you can get that information. You can be observant enough to grab that information. And if that happens, if you notice that, take time to record those information. Write them down, memorize them, master them, know them. I guarantee 90% in the next phase of the interview, questions will come from there. Questions that needs that information that they just displayed will come from there. So don't take those information lightly. Once it's information about the company, don't take it lightly, please. And then after they played that for a while, maybe they played it over and over again for the next 30 minutes, 45 minutes, so that even if you are not one that is observant enough, you should have noticed it. For 40, 45 minutes they played it. Next thing, While the persons are still waiting, while the applicants are still waiting, the next is we switch over to African Magic or Nollywood channels. You begin to see, most especially ladies, we begin to be very, very interested, begin to talk about different persons they like as regards to actors. I remember in one of the sessions I was part of, some ladies were arguing about one Ghanaian actor that usually act a humanizer, that the guy is not just acting, he's a real humanizer in real life and stuff like that. They were busy talking about that, being so much interested, engrossed in it. Now, for some time, maybe once the movie finishes, 1 hour something movie finishes, and the next thing they do, they switch over to Super Sports. CNN, Super Sports, not ESPN, Super Sports, and stuff like that, sports stations. You see the guys, we start be talking, arguing, Messi, Ronaldo. Messi is better than Ronaldo. Ronaldo is better than Messi. This one, this club, and what have you, and that. Now, get this. The challenge is not that you like football. The challenge is not that you like movies. Now, the next thing that will happen is where most persons fail. Is where 70% of the person in that interview will fail. After the sports, the football, during business news, 1, 2, and they switch over to CNN, business news, Al Jazeera, business news, you see that 70% of the applicants in that room lose interest. 70% in that room lose interest. Most persons will start gisting among themselves. Some will start pressing phone. Some will remember. Most persons then will remember that they are still not here. Let me take coffee. Let me take tea. 70% of persons, or 75, 80. I just want to be on the average. We lose interest. And that company is a business-oriented organization. And you want to work in a company that is business-oriented, but you are not interested in what happens in the business world. You are not interested in what happens in the stock market. You are not interested in what happens in the government, because government policies has effect on businesses. And you are not interested in what happens within the industry. How then should we trust that yes, you can be effective once we are testing you in that line? That is where majority will lose interest. So how do you pass that test? Once they switch over to business news, those business news as regards to world news, business news, stock market news, where they will be quoting millions, and most of us will not even understand the indicators, don't understand the things they are saying, and we lose interest. Even if you don't even understand what market capitalization is, even if you don't even understand what liquidity means and all that terms, just be attentive and be telling the other person, wow, so this company make this policy, this one. Start to be discussing business ideas. They are watching, they are listening, as the case may be. Start discussing business ideas. I'm teaching us something very important this evening. I want all of us to master this and master it for life. You start discussing business ideas, policy-related ideas that will be beneficial. You might start to be dishing out some strategic ideas you feel companies can leverage on based on the policy that government just enacted. You are sending a message that you are one who understands how business goes. You have a business mindset. You have a strategic mindset. So once that is happening, you are not just discussing with your friend or someone with you there. You are answering interview. You are passing interview test. Don't be one who is interested in football and then later not be interested in business news. Please, let's get that and get it clear. It's very important that we understand this. Very, very important. I'm taking much time to explain this because of how serious this test is, how important this test is. However, after this, by 4 p.m., 4 p.m., the company will, one of them will come and say, ladies and gentlemen, we sincerely apologize for our inability not to hold the interview again. Some of you have left, which will happen in that process. Some persons might even go and some might stay. Please, before you go, as means of our apology, before you go, we will love that you go and have your lunch, at least for keeping you this long. Let's take responsibility for your lunch. Please, let's all head to the cafeteria for our lunch. Once that happens, that is another aspect of test within this stress test. You are being stressed emotionally, hunger-wise, you might have not eaten, you have just taken only 1 or 2 snacks and stuff like that. Then once you are being taken to the cafeteria, please, I want to say this. In most cases, in 95% cases, those that are serving you in that cafeteria, most of them are part of the management. Most of them, for that day, they are part of the management. Those are part of the interview process. So while you are headed to make your order, make requests, say what you are to eat, having seen the menu, they bring you in and let me, here is the menu we have, just go through it. Feel free to order whatever you want to eat. Don't go to order stuff without making up your mind on what to eat. Don't go there and start looking at the pot. Okay, is this rice? Okay, do you have ofaku? Or do you have pomo? You start asking. No, make up your mind. What is in the menu is what you are going to choose. The things that are in the menu that you are going to ask. If you want fried rice, plantain and fish with moi moi, you can make up your mind. I'm taking fried rice, plantain, moi moi with fish. I'm taking fried rice, plantain and fish. I'm taking eba with egusi soup and pomo. Whatever you want to eat is not a crime, please. But the thing you fail is when you start to be looking at it, pointing at it the way most of us do. Madam, put this for me. You point at it. No, you look at the person, greet the person. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. Please, I would love to have fried rice, this. You tell the person. Don't mind where the person get it from. And once you are done, once you are being served, never leave that place without saying thank you. I want to repeat. Never leave that place without saying thank you. Like I said, 90% of them serving you that day most likely will be a part of the management, part of the decision makers. So with that, you say, thank you, I really appreciate. You go to take your seat. While you are going to take your seat, use your eyes and scan the environment. Don't go and sit alone. Don't choose a table where nobody is and you go and sit alone. That's what most persons that like being alone does. You are sending a message that you are not a team player. And most times company wants one who is a good team player. So what do you do? Don't go and sit alone. Don't choose a table where you sit alone. What do? You scan the place. On most occasions, you will see some persons already seated. Go to the table. If it's a table of 4 and 2 persons are already on that table, go there and ask them, please, may I join you? Go there, ask them, please, may I join you? And definitely they will allow you to sit. While seated and discussing, there are 2 things you dare not discuss. Some of them that on that table might also be part of the interviewers. So two things you dare not discuss. You don't discuss politics, you don't discuss religion. Never fall into the temptation to discuss these two things. Politics and religion. Politics, I mean, is not talking about policies. Get this. Not talking about policies that have been established and the way it can affect the economy, the way it can affect industries. No. Politics, I mean, discussing about maybe PDP, APC, LUP, MPP and all that. No, never discuss such. Don't discuss party politics. Let me put it that way. And then don't discuss religion. Never fall into the temptation of discussing these two things. If you are asked of your opinion, you feel, well, these are certain things I believe. Everybody has their different views. Nobody wins on this aspect. I respect individuals' opinion. I respect individuals' affiliation. I choose not to discuss on that. I have my religious belief, and somebody else is also permitted to have his or her own religious belief. You technically avoid it. Don't discuss these two topics in any interview, not just only when you are called for lunch. Even while waiting, don't discuss. In the waiting room, don't even discuss politics. Don't discuss religion. And this is a bit on what stress test is. There are different stuff that comes across stress test that I will also bring into play during the time we will be dealing with job interview questions and answers. Now, quickly, selling and marketing test. This is another interview test. I will quickly run through this and then entertain our questions. Let's feel free to drop our questions. I have seen questions that have been dropping. If you have any question, feel free, drop the questions as you have them. Feel free, this is your time you have. Feel free to drop your questions. After dealing with this interview test, I will take time to go through those questions, the ones that have been dropped here. All right. Now, the next test is what we call selling and marketing test. What is that? For example, you are applying for a sales job, you are applying for a marketing job, or in your CV, you have selling and marketing skills, and you are applying as a business executive, business developer, as a manager, and what have you. And you are asked to market a product, or you are asked to sell a product to them. An interviewer gives you a product. Maybe they bring their product and give it to you to sell. I will deal with that later. However, if they bring out a product that you don't know and give you and say, sell this product to us, sell this item to us. For example, the person brings his phone and gives to you, and you don't know his phone. You have not used his phone before. You can't really know the features of the phone, and the person brings it to you to sell, or the person removes his wristwatch and asks you to sell that wristwatch to them. I always say this: never sell it. You will have the temptation of trying to sell it, but I want to tell you today, never sell it. On the ground, if it's a product you don't know, but if the person asks you, you are with your wristwatch, you are putting on your wristwatch, can you sell your wristwatch to us? That reminds me, if I didn't say it in the last session, let me say it now. Never go for an interview without a wristwatch. Always go for an interview with a wristwatch. Put on wristwatch. I give that as an order. Anytime I teach, I make it as a must. I'm not saying to me, it's a must. Don't go for an interview without putting on a wristwatch. It's a must. Don't go for an interview without a wristwatch. So having established that, let's say if they ask you to sell your wristwatch to them, then you can sell it because you know your wristwatch. For you as a salesperson, one who has selling and marketing skill, there is something about selling psychology and selling process. You can't really sell effectively an item that you don't know. So when they bring out their wristwatch, when they bring out an item, when they bring out their phone and sell and tell you, sell this phone to us, market this phone to us, you don't tell them that you can't sell it because you have not really used it. No, don't say that. Don't say I can't sell this phone because I have not really used it. Or don't say I won't be able to sell this phone because I have not really used it. No, that's from the negative communication. That's a negative standpoint. However, you can let them know, you can put it this way. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate this privilege to do one of the things I'm so passionate about and one of the things I know how to do best. However, as a sales professional, and as an expert in the field of marketing and selling, it will be difficult for us to sell effectively products or items which we have little or no knowledge about. I would love to ask that a day or two be given to me so that I can study this product and then come back and sell it to us effectively. That is how you deal with that. For a product you don't know, let them know you have passion for sale, you love to sell, you know how to sell, you know. However, as a professional, it will be difficult. Not impossible. It will be difficult for you to sell effectively. You can try to sell it, but it will be difficult for you to sell it effectively. For you to sell effectively an item you have little or no knowledge about. Hence, you are asking for a day or two be given to you so that you can study that product, know its unique features, know its usage, know its advantage to the customer, and then come back and sell it effectively. That is how you deal with selling and marketing test, especially for a product you don't know. However, what if it's a product you know? Like I said, you are being asked to sell your product, your item, maybe your wristwatch to them. So you will now bring in your selling and marketing prowess. You now start, my name is this. I understand you love this wristwatch, or you want to have this wristwatch. If I may ask, what do you really need the wristwatch for? Or if they are asking you to market it, you begin to talk about the unique features of that. Selling and marketing is different. You begin to talk about the unique features of that, market it to them. But if they begin to ask you to sell, in the selling process, you now ask more deeper questions, more personal questions that has to relate with the customer. But in marketing, you talk about unique features, general unique features the product has that will entice the audience, that will entice the customer. So in the selling process, you go deeper into knowing the pain point of the customer, what the customer needs. But in most cases, 70-80% of the interview, you will be tested based on the product you don't know. If they bring out their product that they are yet to launch to the market, they tell you this is a product we are about to launch to the market, and that's why we are recruiting sales and marketing teams. Can you please sell this product to us? Let's see. Don't take it, don't sell it, because you have not studied that product. You don't know its unique features. You don't know its strong points. You don't know the advantages that the product will bring to the market. So with that, if they bring a product they are about to launch, a service they are about to launch to the market, you let them know, well, wow, this is really an exciting opportunity. This is really something I'm so passionate about. Selling is something I love to do. Marketing is something I'm born to do. That's why in my previous place I have done this, I have done that. You can see my records there and there. However, as a professional marketer, as a professional salesperson, it will be difficult. It will be difficult to sell effectively product items that I have little or no knowledge about. So please, I will ask that a day or two be given to me to study this product, to study this item, hence so I can come back and sell it effectively to us. That is how you pass that test. I'll move to the next one. Presentation test. Presentation test. Especially if you are one who is applying for a job that will require you to make certain presentation, pitch proposals, read certain presentations, reports, and what have you, and that your presentation skill will be tested. That is why one basic skill every graduate, one basic skill every person looking for job must have is PowerPoint presentation skill. Ability to use PowerPoint. Microsoft PowerPoint. What you are seeing now is designed using PowerPoint. It's a PowerPoint presentation. However, preparing your presentation in slide is part of the presentation skill, but the way you speak, how you carry your audience along are also part of things to be tested. Mind you, if you are going for an interview as a teacher, you are going to be tested how, based on your teaching skill, how you present, your presentation skill, not how you teach. Not that you know this course, not that you know this subject, but how do you pass the message, how do you pass the knowledge. Some people are knowledgeable, but they can't really teach it. So when we talk about presentation skill, you are going to, is a test where you are being put to show your ability to pass knowledge, your ability to clearly pass knowledge, the ability to present effectively, especially for companies that will be pitching proposals, doing series of reporting and stuff like that. You will be put through presentation test. Then the technical test. This technical test is where you say you're a web developer. Then we test you on being a web developer. You say you're a data analyst. We test you on how to analyze data. Technically, you said you're an accountant. We put you through accounting test. Technically, as regards to the job. So that's why one of the things you must master is to know the job you are applying for, to know the technical abilities of the job you are applying for. The skills that one needs to succeed in that job is non-negotiable. I have said that always. It's non-negotiable. I'm an advocate of value. Add value to yourself. If you want to pass job interviews, one of the things you must do is to be one who is technically sound in that job, who is technically sound in that industry. And these are diverse technical tests, diverse interview tests you will most likely pass through. But as we proceed in job interview questions, in job interview series, handling of job interviews, communication, and that, we will be bringing out different tests. Like in the process of talking about stress test, I talked about observation test. Now, however, having done that, having established that, I will open the floor now for questions. I will open the floor now for questions. If you have any question, kindly drop it in the chat box. Let me now handle the questions I have here. Someone asked, said, what if the interviewer asks about your weakness? Okay, I have dealt with that. All right. Then the next person asks, what if the interviewer asks that, did you have any question for us? Okay, yes, that I will also treat that, the questions to ask the interviewer. However, if the interviewer asks whether do you have any question for us, don't tell them no, that you don't have any question, that you are fine, I'm okay, the interview has been good. No, don't leave there without asking question. Don't say no, you don't have a question. Tell them, thank you, sir. I would like to know, or I would like to ask. I would like to ask is the best option. Don't say I would like to know. Say I would like to ask. I have some questions. I have one or two questions to ask, or I have few questions to ask. If you have more than one question, if you have one, you say, well, I have this one question to ask. However, don't leave the interview section without asking a question. At the end of the interview, ask questions. By next week, I will by next week's sections. One of the things I will handle is questions to ask during interview and questions not to ask interviewers during the interview section. Is next week. It promises to be great. Don't mix it. I will deal with those aspects next week. Questions to ask in job interviews and questions not to ask in job interviews. I will deal is part of the things I will deal with next week. Okay, and someone asked, what about fashion? What about fashion? What about fashion? Those are outlined for next week modules. These sessions have been divided into, this series have been divided into sections. What about fashion? I'm going to be dealing with that next week. The physical communication, the physical appearance, how one need to dress, how one need to appear during job interview. I will deal with that next week. Thank you for asking that, Stephen. Fumilayo, thank you for that question on the one I just answered. Okay, the next question here is, what if the interviewer asks where you see yourself in 10 years, and do you need to lie on some questions? Now, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? Those questions are questions we refer to as frequently asked interview questions. And if you have been following me on this channel, you will notice that I have dealt with that question. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Now get this, you don't tell the interviewer that maybe you see yourself doing your master's abroad. Don't give any answer that gives the interviewer the impression that you will not stay longer in the company. Why this question is asked is to know whether you are going to stay longer with them in the organization. However, this question is now mostly mastered by job seekers, and we have twisted this question in another way, which I will be dealing with in the interview question and answer series in this interview series. But when you are asked this question, don't give the employer, don't give the recruiter the impression that you are one that will not stay longer in the organization. Company don't want one who will come in within 1 year, 2 years, the person is gone. They want one who will stay longer in the organization. That's why you see some loyalty bonus. Some company call it loyalty bonus. If you stay for the company for 5 years, you have so bonus or so benefit. If you stay for 10 years, you also get so benefit and the like with loyalty bonuses. Why? So as to maintain consistency. There is effective growth in consistency. If we keep on changing our staffs every now and then, our growth will not be consistent. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years is something that has to deal with your longevity in the company. And is part of the questions that we will also answer in this panel. However, you ask, do you need to lie on some questions? You don't have to lie. You don't have to lie on questions. However, there are certain things you might choose not to say. You are also not obligation to say everything. For example, if you are asked what is your greatest weakness, you also under obligation not to say your greatest weakness, and then to twist it in a way that shows your strength to be your weakness. We will deal with that as we go for job interview question and answer, that in the area of greatest weakness, if you are too curious to find out, I have dealt with that job interview question on this my channel. Search the videos, you will get it. What is your greatest weakness? You will see how you can maneuver it without lying. Don't go to the interview and lie to the interviewer. I don't recommend that. Okay. Someone else asks, Joseph asks, please, is it okay to ask about payment that they are offering for the job? You see, these are certain questions you don't ask the interviewers during maybe at the end of the interview, and they ask you, do you have any question for us? You now ask them, please, how much is the salary structure for this job, or how much is the payment structure for this job? No, you dare not to do that. You don't ask such question. Yes, they will pay you. They will pay. You will get the employment form. You will see how much the salary, the job worth. If it's okay by you, you sign the document. If it's not okay by you, you can walk away. No law insists that you must accept the job. So I strongly not recommend that you ask how much or ask about the payment in the interview. You might make inquiry about the payment before the interview. That's why we say research. You can make inquiries, make research about the payment before the interview. Find out among the company in the industry, make your research, but don't ask them this question in interview. Don't ask them this question, how much is the salary structure for the job they are offering? No, I strongly kick against it. I don't recommend it. Okay, then another question I have here is, what if the interviewer asks you what made you leave your last job and about your last employer? Those are certain things we will be dealing with in the interview questions. I love the way these questions are coming up. I love the way they are coming up. Is making me is motivating me to know and to know that people are eager to learn these certain things. What makes you leave your previous job, your last job, and about your previous employer? I will tell you this: don't say anything negative about your previous employer, about your previous company. Don't say anything negative. But as how to deal with this question, what to say and how to deal with it, will definitely be part of the questions we will be handling when we get into the interview question and answer series proper. But on this aspect, I will say this: don't say anything negative about your previous employer. Don't try to do that. Don't even, some of us that are core members, don't even say anything negative about the state you serve, or about the local government you serve, or about your PPA. Don't do that. Craft your answer in a way that you are addressing it from the positive standpoint. You are one who is positive minded, not one who is negative minded. Please, is something that you need to bear in mind. And is on this note, this is the last question that I have here. Is on this note, I want to say thank you for joining me for this section this Thursday. Next week, put your time. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, I will encourage that you subscribe, hit the notification bell, so that next week, once we go live, you will be notified. Sometimes I might not be able to post the link on several groups, but by subscribing and hitting the notification bell, YouTube will always notify you once we go live, or once we drop some videos as regards to job interviews and the likes on this channel. So that's one thing I will recommend you to do. Subscribe, share the link, encourage your friends to be part of what we are doing here. What we are committed to do from now till December is to ensure that job seekers on this series get the desired information. that they need, prepare themselves, equip them to be a power force in any interview they go for. Okay, someone dropped a question now. He said, I'm preparing for an interview for front desk receptionist and officer. Okay, follow me. If you have my number, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to me. I'm about to end this session. This has been 2 hours. We are clocking up to 2 hours on this section. If you have my contact, feel free to reach out to me. I will give you certain necessary tips you need. However, let me drop my contact here in case you don't have that. In case you don't have my contact, feel free to reach out through this medium on WhatsApp, and then I will be able to guide you on certain things you need to prepare for as regards to the front desk job you are going for. What you are seeing is my WhatsApp what you will see now is my WhatsApp contact. Feel free to contact me anytime between the hours of 10 p.m. Anything above 10 p.m. I might not necessarily respond. So feel free to contact me on that. That's my WhatsApp contact. Feel free to contact. I will give you some tips and certain things you need to prepare for front desk and receptionist job. I want to say thank you everyone for having been with me this far. I sincerely appreciate you, or thank you for keep on supporting this channel. You are the reason why I'm doing this. If I don't have anybody listening to me, most likely this will not be in place, and I sincerely appreciate us for doing that. Next week, the same time, 4 p.m., we are going to be having another wonderful section on job interview series, Till I see you guys next week, I remain Mr. Franklin Mwankwo. I'm the lead consultant, Solumac Consulting, and what we do is we handle courses as regards to ICT managerial courses, and we help people prepare their work documents ranging from CV, cover letter, even your traveling documents like your academic CV, SOPs, and the likes. Those are the things we do. We teach persons, we teach ICT courses, data analysis, web development, software development, UI, UX, different ICT courses, managerial courses like human resources management, project management, customer relationship, HSE, strategic management. These are courses we teach in our institute called Soluma Consulting. I will love to hear from us. I want to get our feedback, how this session have been of help to you. I will love to get such feedback, how these sessions have been of help, have been of immense help. Please feel free, share your feedback with me, and I will appreciate that. Thank you, and see you next week.